There's this piece of advice that I have followed for years, and I will share it with you. It goes like this. If you need one, buy two. If you need two, buy more. Buy four. If you need four, buy more. So since you're already doing grocery store pickup, you say just pick up something extra. In fact, we have a 10-week plan to get you stocked up and feeling fine about that part of your food storage that you really use. Melanie Papworth specializes in simplifying emergency preparedness. She joins me from her home in California. Hi, Melanie. Great to meet you through the screen.
Hi, Brooke. Thanks for having me. It's good to meet you too.
So I don't have to tell you, but grocery and fuel prices are really hitting family budgets right now. What are you hearing as a result of that when it comes to this desire to be more prepared?
It's definitely skyrocketed this past, probably I'd say 6 months or so. People are seriously freaked out just about their budgets and emergency preparedness in general. I feel like is already a topic that we talk about a lot just with normal life.
Sure.
And now we're throwing in talk of recession and inflation and the war in Ukraine, and all these things they're big. It's a big deal.
They're adding up. So break down this idea of a weekly stock up strategy. What is it and why is it a good idea?
All right. So basically, I think a lot of people get stuck with this big topic of food storage and they just freeze and they don't do anything. And so you don't need a big plan. You don't need a huge spreadsheet with the next 5 years lined out. You just need to grab a few extras when you're at the store or throw it in your cart if you're doing grocery pickup. And so this allows you to kind of watch sales and stock up for things, that are on sale. It also helps you with your daily life. I can't tell you how many times I've run out of something in my normal pantry and I just go to my back stock and crisis averted. I don't have to run to the store. I don't have to change my meal plan.
Right.
So it really is the way to go.
So lay out the guidelines, if you will, of this 10-week stock up.
Okay. So we've prepared a 10-week stock up plan where you are spending about $25 a week extra on your groceries. So that's kind of going into it again, breaking this down to be smaller and more doable for families.
Totally.
And you're just going to purchase one or two items. You're going to just keep it simple.
Okay.
And so each week you're going to change kind of your outlook and change the item. And by the end of this 10 weeks, you're going to have quite a stock that you didn't have. And then hopefully you just keep rolling, right?
So I'm putting in
keep going from there.
25 extra grocery dollars a week over 10 weeks. And come September, you say roughly September, I'm going to be feeling good about the back stock that I have, the storage that I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's the hope.
Give me the first 5 or so items on your stock up list.
Okay. So the first 5 are pasta sauce. Then we have rice, meat, and butter and cheese. So the first one for your pasta, get whatever pasta you're normally using. Don't get a bunch of lasagna noodles if you never make lasagna. The idea here is to buy stuff that you're already using, right? If you're worried about buying the wrong pasta, which you shouldn't be, but if you are, spaghetti noodles, I would say, are probably the most versatile because you can leave them long, you can break them up into little pieces, all of that. So, but any pasta you get, as long as it's not fresh or refrigerated, any pasta in a box is going to last you quite a while. So pasta is a really safe bet, keeps you full. Carbs, which we all love, right?
Yeah. Well,
so that's going to be your first item.
Smart move if we remember back, pasta and rice, they were flying off the shelves during COVID. So I think that's good security too, right? Like I have what I need in my pantry waiting for me, ready to go.
Yep, exactly.
All right, what are the next 5 items on your list?
Okay, so the next 5 are going to be flour, all the sugars, spices, sauces, and then I've got Diet Coke on the last one.
You're a good girlfriend, Melanie.
I mean, I've got to put something fun in there, right? We've got to survive somehow.
Okay, so flour and sugars. Break me down on the wisdom behind that investment.
Okay, so for flour, honestly, this is hopefully being used in your home already, whether you're making bread or baking cookies every once in a while or whatever. But flour is really awesome because you can freeze it and it will extend the shelf life. And you don't really have to do anything to it. You don't need any special tools. You don't need oxygen absorbers. You just throw it in the freezer.
I didn't know you could freeze flour.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, a lot of people do it just normal.
Well, and
just because, like, if they don't do a lot of baking.
Sure. I guess
So.
kind of jumping back to your earlier list, the butter, the cheeses, the meats. So these are things that we're stocking up on, but we're freezing for later. We should probably spell out.
Yeah. So on the butter, you can freeze that for sure. But these are things, everything on this list already has quite a decent shelf life as it comes from the store. So even if you were to bring your meat home and put it in the freezer as is, it'd be okay. It would be better to repackage it if you're thinking longer term. Like if you're not going to eat that meat for 6 months, I would definitely repackage it. You can get some butcher paper on Amazon
Yeah.
and wrap that up and then put foil around it. And it just makes it stay fresher for longer. But there's no like nutritional danger in eating food that's packaged, that's thrown right in the freezer.
No deficiency there.
Cheese has a long shelf life, all this stuff is good as is.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see spices on your list. Tell me the rationale behind that suggestion.
Okay, so spices just spice up any food. So if you think about maybe being in a situation where something were gone at the grocery store or you weren't able to get there. So now we're talking, fast forward a few months. And if this becomes an issue or if it's just too expensive for you to do, you may be working with less ingredients. That's just kind of the nature of emergency situations.
Okay.
And so spices are going to help you kind of get some diversity in there. And so vanilla would help with baking stuff. So I always keep a couple extra vanillas. And, my girls are baking all the time, so we go through it. That's not an issue for us. But you could get smaller bottles if you didn't, if you weren't planning on using that a ton. And then salt and pepper are super overlooked. So is cinnamon. Those things can spice up pretty much any meal, and it can, it can just make something that is super undesirable a little easier to swallow.
Well said.
I definitely recommend spices.
And the Diet Coke, I mean, that's just survival. But in all reality, I think that reflects a more modern approach to food storage, like buying things we actually eat and drink, right, during an emergency or not.
Exactly. And, it's not going to sustain life. It's not going to fill you up. But if you think about being in a situation where you can't afford or you can't get your normal stuff, pick one or two things that would be a comfort food to you and your kids.
Sure.
If you've got kids especially, focus on that. And there is something to be said for your mental stability during these times.
Amen, sister. Yes.
And so just find something like that. For us, it's Diet Coke. You might be a bag of candy, whatever it is.
I love your approach, your measured approach to this and the way you made it so doable. What can we find on your website?
Actually, if you go to my website, planforawesome.com/studio5, I've got a printable of all this stuff laid out for you, and you can grab that for free anytime you want.
planforawesome.com/studio5.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that. And thanks for checking in and sharing your expertise and your planning strategy. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.